live trap?
Posted and the roll been taken? Thank you. Next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Alderman Solis will also say a little prayer as well. So, I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we come in your presence this evening to ask you that you guide us and you allow us that everything that we do in your name, in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Next is item 3, which is the approval of the minutes. If there's no additions or corrections, I'd go ahead and entertain a motion to approve both the July 21st minutes as well as the August 3rd Committee of the Whole minutes as printed.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 4 is communications. I don't know if we have any communications this evening. Next is item number 5, which is public comments. At this time, I would invite any citizens who wish to address the chair at this point of the meeting, and all I would ask is that you please limit your comments to items that are on the tonight's agenda, and for one time for a maximum of 3 minutes, please. So if there's anyone that wishes to speak at this time, I invite you up.
Hello, my name is Michelle Jacobs, and I'm here on behalf of the Delavan Historical Society. Our president, Patty Marsicano, was unable to attend tonight's meeting, but she prepared a statement that she asked I read to you. Mr. Mayor and City Council members, I would like to speak to item number 86 on this evening's agenda regarding your consideration of awarding a contract to raise the former Temperance House at 63 East Washington Avenue to Azarian Wrecking. We have had an offer to purchase on the property, but there was a contingency regarding the raise order that we have no control over, so we took no action. I'd like to ask the council to table the vote on accepting the raise bid to give any interested parties the opportunity to find out from the city what would be needed to be done to lift the raise order from the property and to see if acceptable terms could be met. The last city council assured us that the raise order could be lifted, and I'm hoping that this council will give us time to see if the interested parties can make us an offer with a clear understanding of the raise order and what it would take to lift it. The building is of great enough historical importance that it is worthy of one more week of careful deliberation before it is gone for good. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else at this time that would like to make any comments?
I am a citizen of Delavan. I'm here to speak about 8.6 as well, to encourage you all to consider extending the discussion on the raise order until you can hear from the parties who are interested in doing whatever can be done to save that extraordinary building. And I hope you will take this into consideration.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak at this time?
My name is Peter Oilo, highly invested Delavan citizen, artist, preservationist, taxpayer. Here on behalf of Temperance House as well. I've had many conversations with various parties. I would like to have a out in the public conversation about the things so that there's no longer a he said, she said situation. Have lots of thoughts and many actions have been taken. Lots of options have been raised. I think it is a project that can be done, can be a huge asset to the community. It is a building of statewide significance. And I would like to just hope that we can have a real conversation about it, and that people will listen to each other, hear the facts of the matter, hear the truth, why it matters, how it can be done, and that we can approach some things in the city with positivity, grace, and we're better united and working together on something that matters to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak at this time?
Hi, I'm Lynette Wobig. I am a resident of downtown Delavan and a newly elected member of the board of directors for the Historical Society. And I'd just like to speak to the Temperance House as well. I'd love to see this building restored, so I think giving one more week to the interested parties to figure out if it's worth or if they're able to meet the requirements to lift the raise order, I think that would be in all of our best interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else at this time like to make public comments?
My name is Daniel Canale. I'm a recently new-ish Delavan citizen here, and I'm here to speak on 8-6 with the Temperance House. Just again to encourage the board to stay the vote for another week, and it's worth saving. Delavan's a great historical place with a lot of great historical assets, and it'd be a shame to see this one go.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, which is reports of committees, boards, commissions, and the Delavan Darien School District. 6.1 is the Finance Committee and Treasurer's Report. Alderman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met on August 4th this month. Our next meeting is going to be September 8th at 5 o'clock here. There's a number of items on tonight's agenda that we talked about. The minutes of the meeting are on file with the city clerk for public inspection, and at this time I would make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.2 is the General Operations Committee. Alderman Henriot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The General Operations Committee met on August 4th. Most of the items that were discussed that night are on the council agenda for the evening. Just a couple of highlights. The sidewalk cafe license for the Treasury was approved, and the liquor license application for Boxton Burlap. That's two buildings downtown, which I'm very thankful that someone's taken them over and is going to bring them back. And if anyone would like to, our next meeting is Tuesday, September 1st at 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriot. 6.3 is the Planning Commission. Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Planning Commission met on August 3rd, and we predominantly went over the vision statement from survey results for the comprehensive plan. We're looking to make sure that it's in line with a 20-year plan, and we still haven't finalized that, but we are going to be meeting again on August 31st to review a revised draft of the vision statement. If anybody is interested in reviewing the minutes, they are on file with the clerk. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. 6.4 is Public Works. Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works met on July 28th. We discussed criteria for determining the level of need for sidewalks in different areas throughout the city. We also reviewed the estimated annual PACER rating for the city streets and capital project budget recommendations. Our next meeting is August 25th at 5:30 right here.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item number 6.5 is the Town of Delavan Lake Committee. Alderman Henriot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Delavan Lake Committee met on August 5th. It was a long meeting. There's a lot of different items that were discussed for the dredging of Delavan Lake and the cleanup out there. One of the items too that was discussed in great detail was the Southeast Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission's plan update, and there were several other items that were talked about as far as equipment they were going to be purchasing and when this was all going to be starting. I don't know if any of you went to the meeting that was at Lake Lawn, which discussed the advantages, the Clean Lake study that the University of Wisconsin Whitewater did, but Ryan and I, the mayor and I and the city administrator Denise all attended that. And it was, they gave a talk about what they were doing, what they would be doing in the future, and they're looking for money from the city. They will be coming to ask us for some. They also had community park updates. They're working on their main park out on the lake there, and they also had a special meeting later that 4 days later to discuss the Delavan Lake health goals out there. Their next regular scheduled meeting is, if anybody would like to attend, is for September 2nd at 7 o'clock at the township. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Henriette. Item 6.6 is the Library Board of Trustees. Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Library Board of Trustees met on July 16th. The reopening of the library has gone well. We discussed a Go with Google grant that the library was able to secure that's going to allow the library to provide virtual job skills training in both English and Spanish. Our next meeting is on August 20th, so this Thursday at 5:30 at the library.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item 6.7 is Parks and Recreation Commission. Alderman Tommy Purcell.
A couple weeks ago, we met with the Park and Rec. There's not too much going on with that right now because of the COVID. I think they have a few things going on at the Mill Pond. It's not canoeing, but it's
Yoga.
something. But what we're trying to do is figure out what's going to happen. Yoga.
Yoga on a board.
What we're trying to do is figure out what we're going to do for the fall sessions. So if anyone's got any ideas for buildings, for people to do stuff, but we're going to meet, I think, next Monday. We're going to meet for that one and then go from there. Just because of everything that's been changed for the last basically 8 months, there's really not much going on with that. But
Thank you, Alderman Purcell. Item 6.8 is the Communications Commission. Alderman Solis.
We did not meet, but we are currently working on a time to get together. We are exploring an update on the website, and there's some sound stuff as we discussed on the prior meeting. Maybe some new microphones so people can hear us. I know it's important to get that communication out. So as of we have not met this month. So.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman Solis. Item 6.9 is the Delavan Downtown Project Management Team. Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Downtown Project Management Team met on July 28th. We had the opportunity to meet Katie Chapman, who is our new Connect Communities Director, and we also approved the new event calendar for 2021. We have Scarecrow Fest coming up on September 19th, so we hope to see everybody downtown for that. Our next meeting is August 25th at 7 o'clock here.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deschner-Brandt. Item 6.10 is the Delbrook Golf Commission. Alderman Henriette.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Delbrook Golf Commission has not had a regular meeting since the last council meeting. However, there was a special meeting on July 28th where the commission discussed rejecting the sole bid for the bench wall paving stone project, which is on the agenda tonight. Our next meeting is scheduled for this Thursday, August 20th at 5 o'clock, if anyone would like to attend.
Thank you, Alderman Henriot. Item 6.11 is the Tourism Commission. Alderman Henriot.
We have not met since the last council meeting. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, August 25th at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. We'd like to see you all there if you'd like to come.
Thank you, Alderman Henriot. Item 6.12 is Delavan Darien School District. Dr. Jill Sorby.
Hello. I've missed everyone. It's nice to see some new faces as well. So, and congratulations again, Mayor.
Thank you.
So I'm here, Jill Sorby, I'm your district administrator for the Delavan Darien School District. I'm here to report about some things that are happening in the district. So I'm going to start with some of our reopening plans. Certainly more detailed account can be found on our website, and we are going to be rolling out draft 2 of our plan that goes into a little bit more detail on scenarios of the what ifs that so many families want to know. But we are waiting for some further information from the state. So the state has said that they are going to provide those what-if guidance for us, and we're patiently waiting for those things. So, so some of the things that we've done. First of all, we are planning on 5 days a week face-to-face instruction. We have been diligently moving all of our students' desks and tables to create that social distancing of 6 feet, and or opening up double rooms. So we have several of our rooms in our buildings have the capacity to be a double room. So our teachers that may have a larger class larger than 20, how do you fit 26 kids into a room? You do it by having a double room, basically. So we're rearranging. Our teachers will all be in movement this year. So by that I mean we are at the elementary grades cohorting our kids, so they will all be in the same classroom, the same, not mixing with each other. That will be for lunches and recess. They will be cohorted out on the playground together. And our intention is really to keep those students socially distanced within the classrooms, but the teachers, the art teacher, the music teacher, the specials teachers will push into that classroom. And the only one that will take them out is for PE. We'll have movement breaks in the room as well. At our middle and high school, same kind of thing. We are trying to do our best to limit the amount of interaction our students have within that 6 foot of distancing. So all of our students have been, along with our staff, being able to create that social distancing that we know is important. So in addition to our regular face-to-face 5 days a week instruction, we have also started a new virtual program. We have about 15% of our population signed up to go virtually this year. That instruction will run parallel with our own curriculum. And so they have been diligently signing up families that are interested in that have intentions of coming back to face-to-face instruction in the future, knowing that there is some safety concerns that they may have, health issues personally at home as well. So that is in the process as well. Some other safety factors that we've put in is daily home screening, health screening in the morning. Random temperature checks are going to be held midday in our buildings. We know that families might do some self-medicating because a child might have a headache, but then in the afternoon the medicine runs out, and so we want to know whether or not the child might have a fever that they just didn't spot in the morning. We've created physical barriers similar to what I see in front of me, and for you all, we have only bottle fillers. We don't have our drinking fountains working, so our students will not be able to get a drink of water from the fountain. Instead, they will need to bring in a bottle that they can refill at their bottle fillers. We've created a separate isolation room for students that are ill. So if they are showing any signs of COVID, they would be put in a separate isolation room with our health aide, and then parents would be called right away to pick up. We've definitely increased our cleaning practices and our overall sanitization. We are requiring a mask according to our governor's new order. We are going to limit field trips and teach our students about frequent hand sanitizing, how to properly cough and sneeze and things like that to keep the germs down. And again, further information can be found on our website. of how we'll be unrolling our reopening plan. We had summer school this summer in person. We had about 300 students sign up for our in-person summer school, and it was very successful. We did not have an outbreak. Most of our students came in unmasked, to be honest, because it was before the mask mandate in July, and we were very successful. And really, we used a lot of our reopening plan and tried it out and gave it a test run, and so we feel very comfortable with what we're doing already. Some other things instructionally, we have adopted a new social studies program, kindergarten through 12th grade. The teachers piloted that curriculum last year and are very excited to continue the work with that program. All the materials are printed and as well as online, and they are offered both in English and in Spanish for our dual language students. So our students will be learning side by side with each other. This year we are piloting English language arts curriculum and Spanish language arts curriculum. Again, it's a side-by-side program. In addition to that, we're also piloting world languages. So we've got lots of fun things curriculum-wise going on. Some things around our campus that have made for big improvements here, some buildings and grounds thing that we've been quite busy since March when we went out. At Turtle Creek, we have new sets of windows for approximately 8 classrooms. Those were needed based on leaky windows, basically. Darien, we have new cabinets and countertops installed in all of our classrooms. And I think it was pretty essential to have this be done because basically we found out after we removed the cabinets and the sinks that we had some water leakage in the old walls there at Darien. Currently, if you have drive by Darien, you'll see a new color comet blue fascia and soffits being done. So it's really sprucing up the outside of the building as well. Phoenix Middle School, we finished off our auditorium. You may recall that last year we installed new seating. This spring, we installed a new sound system and new lighting, so that wraps off that area. And then we have painted comet blue, the student lockers, giving it a whole new fresh look. It looks like a whole different building. Instead of being a 1967, it looks like a 2017 building probably, or greater. The office has been remodeled as well, so that's just getting finished right now. And both the high school and the middle school have new cafeteria floors that are funded under Fund 80, which is our food service funding. So those are exciting areas for the students to see when they come back. Specifically our high school, another thing that you're probably observed is the large crane out front. We are just about finished with the replacement of our gym roof, which needed it dramatically because it was getting years of leaky roof onto our gym floor, as well as freshly painted walls to ceiling. And they started and are finishing this week the resurfacing of our gym floor. The resurfacing has been sponsored by Comfort Heating and Cooling and Carrier. So they were the ones that paid for the resurfacing of $25,000 for the gym floor. So we're appreciative of our local efforts. In addition to that, you will see a new soccer scoreboard outside, which was sponsored via our own Shonik containers here in town, along with our booster club. And overall, we're very excited for our students to return, our teachers to return. We've missed them. We've missed everybody, and it's really kind of exciting to have everybody come back. So we're counting on a successful year, and I'm not worried whatsoever. So ready for the finish line here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 7 is Planning Commission. I don't think we technically have anything here this evening for consideration under that, so we'll move on to item number 8, which is the Finance Committee. Item 8.1 is consider the proposal from Kehoe, Henry and Associates out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin for architectural services for the clubhouse renovations at Delbrook Golf Course at a cost of $33,250.
So this was brought in the Finance Committee. Kehoe, Henry and Associates came through with the only bid for the clubhouse renovation project at Delbrook. And the funds for this project will come from the Pat Nelson donation. So with that, I would move to approve the proposal from Kehoe Henry and Associates, Elkhorn, Wisconsin, for architectural services related to clubhouse renovations at Delbrook Golf Course for an amount not to exceed $33,250.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
What, excuse me, what exactly is that for?
The bathrooms, I think they're doing some renovations to the downstairs, the locker rooms, and then I think there's also some minor things in the, like windows, new windows.
What's involved with the pavilion on this?
That doesn't include the pavilion.
Nothing with the pavilion?
No, that was done.
That's all George.
That's already pretty much
That's-
been done.
Okay. Okay, I second it.
There's any other further discussion? There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 8.2 is consider formal action rejecting the sole bid on the bench wall paving stone project and that it exceeds the amount budgeted for the project. Alderwoman Deshner Bright, did you want to explain this?
This was also brought to the Finance Committee. Basically, the sole bid was from Sunrise Gardens for the bench wall paving stone project at Delbrook, and it was overbid, so you had mentioned that. You
Yeah.
guys had talked about it at committee level, and it was thought to maybe reject that because of the bid that came in. So, with that being said, I would move to reject the bid from Sunrise Gardens, Darien, Wisconsin, due to it being over the amount budgeted and not meeting specifications.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Was there any explanation as to why it came in overbid? Was it due to a change in design or anything
I
else?
think what's happening right now, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of materials are going up in cost because of COVID, so a lot of things are more expensive than they were anticipated to be originally.
But the plan itself remained the same, it's just the cost of materials increased.
And it was the only bid, that came in, so.
Okay. I know that that's something that's very common with a lot of construction, not just that.
Mhm.
And the longer it gets pushed off, the higher the cost of the construction project because of the material costs. So that's just something for us to consider and understand as
We
we
are
move
putting
forward.
it out to rebid again.
Are we increasing the value or are we leaving it at the
I
same
don't know
price?
what-
I can comment on it. They're actually going to be looking at smaller projects just because with different areas, so they can prioritize the areas that they're going to work with. The one bidder was the company that actually gave us the original estimate. They did not meet spec. They had, and so they actually proposed a different methodology than what was included in the specs. So there was a couple issues with it, and it was significantly higher than their original estimate. So I think there's a lot of reasons for the concern on moving forward with that, and what they're now going to be able, some of these projects aren't really expansive, and they feel like that by putting into 3 different packages, we might be able to encourage some smaller contractors that might be able to more effectively be able to look at these projects.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other further discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 8.3 is consider City of Delavan debt policy.
And this came through the Finance Committee as well. Denise could probably clarify more on this, but the current policy establishes a maximum at 2.5%, and the Finance Committee has made the recommendation to change the policy to reflect a direct debt burden of 2.25%. Did you want to add?
I was just going to say that this was reviewed in April, both by the former Finance Committee as well as by the current Finance Committee, and that was really the one remaining area that was open for discussion, and the agreement was reached by the Finance Committee to move forward with the 2.25. That is based on also hopefully being able to accomplish some of the projects that we're proposing, at least in the next 5 years.
I would make a motion to approve the debt policy.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 8.4 is consider cost share agreement with the DOT for bridge deck repairs to the Richmond Road Bridge over Swan Creek.
And this also came through the Finance Committee. The grant award for this project is an 80-20 split, with 80% being funded by the grant, 20% by the city. Any increase beyond the estimated cost of any line item on the project cost will be 100% city cost. So there was some concern that the potential cost of the federal design regulations that come with the grant may add some additional cost to this project, but the committee still was of the opinion that it would benefit the city to proceed accordingly. I don't know if you want to add anything, Mark, to that? Okay. So with that being said, I'd move to approve the proposed SMA for the local bridge work on Richmond Road.
Could I ask Mark a question real quick?
Yeah, let's get a second for, there's a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion or comments? Go ahead, Alderman.
Mark, that
Mason.
was rebuilt not too long ago, right?
The bridge was reconstructed in 1982, was rebuilt. We did put a new roadway surface on, new asphalt over it back in probably in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem right now is the center structure of the deck has actually failed through the center of the bridge. So it needs an entirely new deck material.
Okay. It seems like when it rains a lot, it gets hit by water pretty bad.
There will be, during design, some issues with the creek. When the dam is opened at the mill pond, the water actually pushes on the upstream side of that bridge deck. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like, should it be dredged out or something so that?
All good questions when we get into design. Yes.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, we're gonna have this issue.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, with that line item increase, that's restricted to those individual line items. And that would be 100% cost of that line item or 100% cost of the increase from that line item.
And we have run into this in past, it's been on a line item by line item basis.
Would we then be responsible for that entire line item? Or-
Over the percentage, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 8.5 is consider cost share agreement with the DOT for roadway reconstruction of Wright Street from Hobbs Drive to Racine Street.
And this also came through Finance Committee. It's also a grant award with the same conditions as the last one that we just discussed. So I would move to approve the proposal SMA for the FPP urban work on Wright Street.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 8.6 is consider award of a contract to raise the former Temperance House at 63 East Walworth Avenue to Azarian Wrecking in an amount not to exceed $25,777. At this time, consistent with what I did at the Finance Committee level, I am going to recuse myself from leading any discussion on this agenda item, and I will turn it over to our Council President, Ron Henry. Again, as I explained, for those that were at the Finance Committee level, I am a board member on the Historical Society as well. So at this time, I'll hand the gavel over to Council President Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to excuse myself from this too.
Denise, do you want to go ahead and on this item?
Okay. Um, Yes, I think as I indicate in my report, there has, and I think as was indicated by the statement from Patty Marsicano from the Historical Society, there has been some recent renewed interest in the property, and so there is being requested possibly to allow for an additional week to see whether that is, whether one, the city can determine what work they would feel would need to be done in order to delay the demolition of the building. So there are really two options that are recommendations that were presented. One, if they're concerned with the building and feel like it should be moved, that we should just move forward, the bid could be awarded this evening for the demolition. The other option would be to table this matter or to just defer this matter to Tuesday night, August 25th, for a special council meeting, at which time the consideration could be given to that bid. The bid has to be consideration for, the bid is good for 60 days. And so if we do not award it by very close to 26, sometime that week, but before the end of the month, that bid the contractor would no longer be required to honor it. There were 5 bids received, and as indicated in the report, the prices range for a little under $26,000 that's being recommended at this point, up to $51,000. So, so we do feel that that we have a little bit of time here, this 1 week, to potentially see if what conditions would be required to move forward, and if the parties who are interested in putting in a price could feel comfortable meeting those conditions. So, so I think it's up to the council to determine, do they want to award the contract, or do they want to move this item to to a special meeting on August 25th and allow for at least some additional consideration of the bill, trying to salvage the building.
I'd like to, for us to consider tabling this item and allowing the parties involved that are interested to get their stuff together so that we give this another opportunity. It's been standing for well over 100 years, and I know that the history of the Temperance House means a lot to a lot of people, but it is a lot of work. But I feel like having the right people behind the wheel with also community support, I definitely would love to see this stay. I would love to see it what it can be. It would be an awesome place to have a deck in the back, have some people play music. It'd be an awesome place to do fundraising. It would be a great addition to the wine walk. It would be a great addition to all the things that we have in Delavan. But understanding that there is a lot of work ahead of it, and we're well aware of the amount of money that's going to cost to get it to that point. But I feel like we owe it to the building. I mean, it's one of the oldest buildings here in the city. I believe it's the oldest building in the city of Delavan still standing, of the original. And if I'm not mistaken, other historians might tell us a little bit more about it. I'm the newer guy here, so but I feel that some of the wood in there came from the local lumber yard here. So there's a lot there to consider. And I'd like to move it, to have it tabled and allow for that time to see if anything viable can still happen for this building.
To that specific date?
To a specific date, yeah.
So that's a motion to table to the
Motion to table
25th of
to
August.
August 25th, yeah.
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to add a couple of things. I understand that this process has been ongoing for quite a while, and that there are numerous concerns regarding safety, regarding everything that's taking place in the Temperance Building. I've seen the pictures recently of what it looks like on the inside. I have not toured it myself, but I have actually gone through other buildings of similar nature and historical significance. I understand the workload that it takes, and I also understand the safety concerns doing the actual work. So I do want a preference. I am in favor of tabling this only because it doesn't interfere with the fact that the raise order can continue unabated. I am interested to see if something can be done in this short amount of time that can both provide security for the building as well as security for the people that are entrusted to take care of the building. If a contractor or a developer can't meet the expectations that the city has in terms of the fire code, in terms of making sure that it's done in a timely manner, because as it continues to sit, it's deteriorating. It's gotten worse since I've seen this, as I understand it. So we are definitely at a point where we need to make sure that we are doing the responsible thing. I studied anthropology in college, and I understand the significance of structures like this, the historical impact to the community, in terms of a holistic approach. But I also recognize that sometimes, just because it's old doesn't mean that it has to stay. I would still be in favor of tabling this for a week.
We have a motion on the table. Is there any further discussion?
Denise,
If not, may we have a roll call here?
would you want to go to September 1st?
We can't. The date is, that would be past the time the contractor would hold the price. So we do need to go to the 25th.
Okay.
May we have a roll call, please?
Alderwoman Commissioner Brandt?
Yes.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
Alderman Beazer?
Yes.
Alderman Phillips?
Yes. To table, correct?
You gotta be careful on that.
Alderman Henriette, sorry, I forgot you're an alderman.
No. Motion passes.
Thank you, Council President Henriette, for leading that agenda item. We'll now move on to item 8.7, which is approval of bills warrant 20-07. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'd go ahead and make a motion to approve the bills.
There's a motion
I'd second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 9 is General Operations Committee. 9.1 is consider liquor license application for Boxed and Burlap LLC, 230 East Walworth Avenue, John Neighbors, agent. Alderman Henriette, did you?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On August 4th, Boxed and Burlap appeared before the General Operations Committee for a liquor license at Boxed and Burlap on 230 East Walworth Avenue, and it was approved at our meeting. It needs to move on for approval here at council.
Okay. There's a motion to approve officially then?
I'll make that motion that we approve.
And
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? As Alderman Henriette pointed out during the update, I would reiterate what he had said too. For those that aren't familiar with 230 East Walworth Avenue, that's the old Five and Dime that many of us remember growing up and visiting, and later became the Antique Mall, and more recently has stood empty and kind of deteriorating. So this is exciting news, certainly for the historic downtown area, and I think the whole community. So Any other further discussion regarding this item? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 9.2 is consider expansion of the licensed premise description to allow for alcohol sales at the sidewalk cafe seating for the Treasury. Alderman Henriette?
Yes, the Treasury is another building, new building going up downtown. And they have come in and asked for a sidewalk cafe seating for, on their license, a description for part of their license. Requires a motion to approve the updated premise description for that liquor license of the Treasury, and to add that portion of the city sidewalk described in the sidewalk cafe permit issued to the applicant for the dates and times set forth on said sidewalk permit. Is there a motion to approve this liquor license addition?
There's a motion, it sounds like, and is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 10, other business, is 10.1 is consider development agreement relating to the purchase and development of lots 3, 4, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 29 of the Ellis Farms subdivision phase 1. Denise, did you want to explain this?
Yes. U.S. Shelter had purchased one lot in one of the lots that was owned by the city in the Ellis Farms. They would now, based on kind of the process and seeing how it went through, they are interested in securing the remaining lots for a specific period of time in which they will then continue to construct on those lots. They've actually purchased 2 lots in that subdivision already that were owned by another party, and both of those, one lot, the house has been built and is in the process of being built, has already sold. It's my understanding, I was not able to confirm that, but possibly the lot that they purchased from us has been sold. And they have started a third building on the other lot. So they are moving forward and with their plans, and we are very excited about this because, as you recall, the city had purchased these lots from the county because we did have special assessments on those. Based on this agreement, we will be able to recover our full cost and even come out ahead. So, and in addition, have new homes going up in the community, which was the other objective that we were trying to achieve.
Thank you, Denise. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Chairman, I would move to approve the development agreement by and between the city of Delavan and U.S. Shelter Homes.
Second.
LLC relating to the purchase and development of lots 3, 4, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 29 of the Ellis Farms subdivision.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I think we have a realtor in the back of the room.
You're lucky behind glass.
Item 10.2 is consider temporary expansion of the licensed premise to allow for outdoor customer appreciation event at Wally Wheels Inn.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the temporary expansion of the licensed premise for Wally Wheels Inn for their customer appreciation event on September 5th, 2020, from noon until 10 o'clock p.m., provided that the area is cordoned off as proposed.
There's a motion and a second. We do have the owner here. I don't know if there's any other questions, but thank you, Lisa, for attending tonight. And any other further discussion on this? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 11 is public comments. At this point, I would allow citizens who wish to address the chair at this point of the meeting to please limit your comments to once for a maximum of 2 minutes. Is there anyone that would wish to speak at this time? 2 minutes.
You gave John all these years a long
I didn't give John. Maybe the former mayor gave John.
You got the timer? Anyways, a couple items here. I just want to, Chris Phillips, 306 North Fifth Street, in the true heart of Delavan. I gotta take this off the socket. First item I want to address is in regards to the Temperance House, all right? Going back and forth, I know we've been doing this for years, everybody knows my stance on it. I'm more than happy to throw the match, all right? But on that note, knowing that there is a legitimate offer on the Temperance House, I'm all about saving properties and whatnot. I condone you guys for, letting it go off for another week here, but on that hand, shame on the Historic Society. Shame on them. Because they had a legitimate offer sitting in their hands that they, person could have came to this meeting and said, hey, now that I own this, here's my plan for the future for the Temperance House. But instead, they flat out didn't even respond to the offer. And from what I'm hearing, that there was a second interested party, which actually some people that belong to that board for the Temperance House hasn't even heard about it yet for the Historic Society. So that just tells you how great they communicate. So on that note, the legitimate offer was rejected, or I consider it rejected because it's never answered. And then the reason why I know this, because I personally wrote it. All right, I did it pro bono, no costs, because I'm a concerned citizen, and I'm all about saving properties if there's a way to save it. So on that note, I see that you're going to go into closed session, do with Temperance House being the closed session. What does the city have any business going to closed session about the Temperance House? It's not a city public property. It is a Historic Society owned nonprofit. City has no negotiating rights or anything like that. And that hocus pocus about the bids, maybe we should put something in escrow for the bids. Bids go up, bids go down. If you do that, then people that are interested would probably walk away, because the people that are interested need those funds to start on a foundation, get the foundation done. This is the start of the plan, to immediately work on the foundation, going from the foundation to the roof, then working on exterior. This is a thing that went step by step, and the people that are willing to purchase this, I do firmly believe they have the ability to do this, the funding to do this, and the crowdfunding that they're gonna do to improve more things on the interior as well down the line. So, as far as I'm concerned, the city should have no say in anything of this. And as far as I'm concerned, if the Historic Society can't accept the bid, even though it wasn't a great high bid, because the people that want this need as much money as possible, as you know from the reports of how much this is gonna cost, go ahead, tear it down. Don't delay any longer. But in the future, I just think the Historic Society is just doing a disjustice. They're out for a profit, not to save the building. If they were out to save the building, they would have took the offer and they would have moved forward, and then that LLC could have came here and said, hey, I'm willing to do this, will you work with me? Okay, so on that note, that's my opinion on that. As far as I noticed on the old bank building too, downtown, they tore off the facade up top, okay? Is this gonna be replaced? Because that is a historic building. If you wanna get into historic sites here, are they gonna replace it with the same design on that building? That's another question. I hope the city follows up with that, because I remember you guys, everybody doing things downtown, were so adamant about putting things back to the original way it was, aka the Temperance House. So on that note, in closed session, I wouldn't even talk anything about the Temperance House. I'm sorry. That's just me, because you, as a city, has no right whatsoever. There's no funding involved with you guys. There's nothing to do with you guys. So I encourage that the Historic Society take the offer, move forward, and then let's get this thing resurrected like you've been fighting for so many years. So, all right?
Thank you, Chris. Any other additional comments?
I'm sorry, after Chris has spoken, I'm gonna ask for a point of clarification. Is the August 25th meeting closed to the public then? Is that what I'm understanding?
Normally, we don't get into a back and forth. This is for comments only. I think,
Well, I'm
just to be
trying
clear, the August 25th meeting will be open to the public.
It will. Okay, great, thank
Yep.
you.
Any other comments at this time? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to item number 12, which is suggested future agenda items. Does anyone on the council have any suggested future agenda items at this time? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to item number 13, which is recess to close session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session regarding the Temperance House and Hobbs Drive Corporation Development Agreement, and remaining in closed session to pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or likely to become involved with regarding 307, 309 East, or Walworth Avenue. Is there a motion to?
I would so move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify.
We need a roll call, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, thank you. We'll have a roll call.
Alderwoman Dishney Yes. Alderman Heather
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beecher.
Yes.
Alderman Cody.
Yes.
Alderman Brazel.
Yes.
All right, we'll go ahead and take about a 5-minute recess and let Bill break down. 10? So we'll go into recess here.